Good morning, children. So, today we are going to see regarding the continuation of the chapter Principles of Inheritance and Variation. So, today we are going to see regarding genetic disorders. So, here in genetic disorders, by using pedigree analysis, we are going to find whether the given character is autosomal dominant or autosomal recessive. So, here already we studied regarding pedigree chart. So in pedigree chart, we studied when there is no circles are there, it denotes the female, and the squares no, it denotes the male. Okay, so here when it is solid, when it is darkened, so that indicates whatever character we study, so that is denoted by the darkened square or darkened circles. Okay, so when the character is seen, the whatever character we want to observe, so when it is seen, so that is darkened. Okay, so here now let us see regarding the autosomal dominant. So here, in the case of autosomal dominant, the affected individual, so when you observe affected individual, whatever affected individuals means, so here the offsprings we call them as affected individuals. That is first, that is parental, and second, that is no offsprings, third is the grandchildren. So when the affected, in this one, the affected individuals are there, no? So this affected individuals will be having at least any one of the parent will be affected by the particular trait, whatever we observe. Any one of the parent will be having the particular trait, and that phenotype will be appeared in each and every generation. So here when you observe the particular observed character, it is seen in the first generation also, second generation also, third generation also. Okay, so and when you observe the other one, so here this normally the traits, why is it like that? In the case of dominant character, no, so they are exhibited under homozygous and heterozygous condition. So as it is exhibited under both homozygous and heterozygous condition, so mostly it is exhibited in all, and apart from that, that is autosomal dominant. As it is autosomal dominant, irrespective of male and female, it will be exhibited each and every generation. So here the first generation, that is parents. So parents, the female, that is no mother, she is having the particular trait whatever we want to observe. And when they are having 3 kids, so all are males. So the second kid, no, the second male child, so that child is showing the particular trait, but the other two are unaffected. So why? So why only that but one male child is affected and other two are not affected? Because so mother is heterozygous for the trait. As mother is heterozygous for the trait, she will be having the normal recessive gene also. But when you see the father, he is not having the trait, so means he is recessive. He is not at all showing the particular trait. So as it is dominant, it is here exhibited under heterozygous condition. When the heterozygous female, when she marries, so recessive double recessive male, so it can produce so recessive. So here the first son and the third son, okay, that is towards extreme left and towards the extreme right. So these two children are not showing the trait, only the second child is showing the trait, because the second child is heterozygous and it is showing the trait. When the normal male, no, when once again marrying the heterozygous female, so here, so how can you tell it is heterozygous? Because so these couple, they are having all the 3 daughters. Okay, the first daughter, she is showing the particular trait, other 2 daughters are not showing the trait. So why? So by seeing that when some of the offsprings are exhibiting and others are not exhibiting, what can you tell? So the particular character showing male or female, they are heterozygous. In case they are homozygous, all the children will be showing the trait. So by seeing that, we can find whether the particular whatever the trait it is being observed, it is whether it is shown in the parent or offspring or grandchildren, we can tell them whether they are homozygous, dominant or heterozygous. So here from that we can find out very easily. So this is applicable. When you observe here, now let us study the thing whatever given here. So according to this, no, so at least one of the parent is affected. You can see in all the three generations, one of the parent is affected. So when you observe the traits as it is controlled by dominant genes. So here males and females, so both are being showing the character. So the traits, no, it does not skip the generations. When you see the lower one, it is being skipped. In the case of recessive, no, it is being skipped. So parents are not showing, but the offsprings are showing, and once again the grandchildren are showing. It is skipped by the parents. So it can be skipped in any of the generation, the recessive. But when you see the dominant pedigree, dominant autosomal dominant character, it is not skipped in the generation. For this example is polydactyly and tongue rolling ability. So polydactyly means what? Normally everybody they have only 5 fingers. So apart from that, no 5 fingers or toes. So polydactyly they may be showing the extra finger, maybe 6 or 7 like that. That you call that as polydactyly. So if you observe any one of the parent is polydactyly, so automatically if they are dominant, that is homozygous dominant, all the children will be showing polydactyly. If they are heterozygous, some may be showing, some may not be showing. So from there easily we can find out. Then rolling of tongue, the rollers and non-rollers accordingly, that is also the same way, that is autosomal dominant trait. So next one, let us see regarding autosomal recessive. So when you observe the unaffected parents, so here the parents are not affected, they are not showing the particular trait, but the child is showing the character. Sometimes it happens, parents may not be having a particular problem, but the genetic problem, but the children they will be exhibiting. So why is it like that? Because it is recessive gene. As it is recessive gene, the dominant gene, no, when both the parents are heterozygous condition, they may not be exhibiting the particular character. So these two parents, they may be heterozygous. That's why they are not exhibiting the feature. When these two parents, when they marry, when you see outside, they will be normal. Phenotypically, they will be normal. When they marry, any of the children they may be having the trait, okay, the particular the disease or problem they can suffer from. So why? Because so this child, the both the recessive genes from both the parents are being carried by this particular child, male child. That's why showing the problem. So here in this one they are not showing. Why? Once again they may be both the dominant genes can be present. So here the heterozygous genes can be there. So as it is, no, they are not exhibiting, because here the recessive gene is showing the particular problem. That's why. So when the normal male, no, when marrying the problematic female, the suffering from any problem, that particular trait whatever we observe, when it is there in that particular female. So here once again the female children, one of the female child is suffering, others are not suffering. So here once again what can be the situation? So here as it is recessive trait, they will be homozygous for the particular genes, particular character. Okay, so when she marries, no, she is double recessive female. So that male can be homozygous or heterozygous when she marries, no. So then automatically the children, some of them, so they may be carrying the particular trait. But here, as this female child is suffering from the problem, so here the male, no, he or she should be, no, as she is, when the male is normal, so sure that male will be heterozygous. As it is heterozygous, so when the dominant gene when it is being combined here, then automatically these female children are normal. So here heterozygous condition, there will be recessive gene also. When the recessive gene is being combining with this recessive gene found in the female, so here this female child, they are showing the recessive character, double recessive form. So that's why, so this female is suffering from the problem. So automatically, how can easily, simple thing, how can you easily find out whether it is a dominant, autosomal dominant or autosomal recessive? First you observe whether the character is being autosomal, means it will be exhibited equally both in males and females. Okay, that is the first thing. And second thing, when it is skipping the generation, you can tell that is autosomal recessive. When it does not skip and it is being shown in each and every generation, that is autosomal dominant. Okay, so by seeing this, easily we can find out these two main points. By observing this, easily we can tell whether the particular trait is autosomal dominant or autosomal recessive. For autosomal recessive, example is albinism and sickle cell anemia. Albinism means, sometimes they may be lacking the melanin pigment, so because of that they will be having that extremely fair color and bleached type of skin, and they won't be having any uh, hair also, no, it will be white in color. So that is no albinism. So when the albinism and sickle cell anemia, already we studied regarding sickle cell anemia, the sickle shaped cells, no, so that is also autosomal recessive. Okay children, so today we studied regarding autosomal dominant trait and autosomal recessive trait. By using pedigree analysis, how can we distinguish? I hope you must have understood. So let us meet in the next class. Thank you children.